This video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Voyager Wealth Institute. My name is Ahmed Yassin. In this series, we break down structured products using simple frameworks designed for relationship managers and finance professionals. Picture this: a client holds a structured note linked to an index. The market falls 35%. Whether they walk away with full capital protection or absorb that entire loss could come down to a single number: the barrier. In earlier episodes, we covered participation rates and caps, the levers that determine how much upside an investor receives. Barriers add a third dimension. They create conditional outcomes that depend on the behavior of the underlying asset. Same product, very different results. So, what exactly is a barrier? A barrier is a predefined price level tied to the underlying asset. If the underlying crosses that level during the life of the product, the payoff structure changes. The key word is conditional. Nothing happens until and unless that level is reached. This is what makes barriers so powerful as a structuring tool. They allow issuers to offer more attractive terms in exchange for the investor taking on that conditional risk. Let's walk through a concrete example. Imagine a 3-year structured note linked to a major equity index. The barrier is set at 70%. The product terms offer full participation in upside. Scenario 1. The index never falls below 70% during the 3 years. At maturity, the investor receives the agreed payoff. The barrier was never triggered. Scenario 2. The index falls to 65% at some point. The barrier is breached. At maturity, if the index is still below the start level, the investor no longer receives the protected payoff. Instead, their return reflects the full decline of the index from day one. Tighter pacing. The note has converted into a direct exposure to the underlying. Note that specific outcomes always depend on the individual product. Here is something that surprises many professionals. A barrier breach does not automatically mean a loss. It depends on the design. In a yield-enhancing structure, a breach typically converts the product into direct exposure. If the asset has fallen, the investor bears that loss. But in a capital-protected note, a barrier may just activate or deactivate a feature. The principal protection at maturity may remain fully intact. The takeaway for relationship managers: when you see the word barrier in a term sheet, ask, what specifically changes if this barrier is breached? Why do structurers use barriers? Because they make attractive product features economically viable. By introducing a conditional trigger, the issuing bank can offer a higher participation rate, a better cap level, or an enhanced coupon. In exchange, the investor accepts conditional downside exposure. Barriers let structurers calibrate the trade-off precisely. They let us balance protection, participation, and income far more precisely than we could without them. From a technical perspective, barriers are implemented using barrier options. The first is a knock-in option. It does not exist at inception. It only becomes active if the underlying reaches the barrier. A knock-in put at 60% gives the issuer downside protection, but only then. The second is a knockout option. This option is active from day one, but it is canceled, knocked out, if the underlying reaches the barrier. A knockout call might enhance the product's upside participation, but it disappears if the index rallies above a certain level. These two mechanisms allow structurers to create the conditional payoff profiles you see across a wide range of products. Barrier features appear across nearly every category. In a reverse convertible, the barrier protects the investor from small market declines. In an autocallable note, the barrier determines whether the product is redeemed early. In income notes, it often determines whether a coupon is paid. Same mechanism, different consequences depending on the structure. Here is the key takeaway. A barrier is a conditional trigger. It changes what a structured product does under a specific market scenario. Your job as a relationship manager is to identify what exactly happens at the moment this barrier is breached, and is that appropriate for this client? In the next episode, we bring together participation rates, caps, barriers, and everything else we have covered in this series. We will examine one of the most widely used structured products, the reverse convertible. I will see you there.